If your mind's been running a million miles an hour, I've got something that might just help you feel a little bit more calm and a little bit more relaxed. In this video, I'm going to share 3 simple Zentangle border patterns. No stress, no art skills needed, just a pen, a quiet moment for yourself, and a chance to breathe. Let's just get started. So, I'm going to use a Uniball Eye micro pen today. You could use any fine liner pen that you have. You don't even necessarily need to use a fine liner, but that's the kind of pen that's kind of most often used when tangling. So for the first tangle that I'm going to teach today, I am going to draw a couple of parallel lines, and this line that I'm drawing just now, I'm going to go from the top of this, I'm just going to zoom out slightly, going from the top of that tile to the bottom of that tile. And as you can see, I've taken my pen off the tile. If that's easier for you to do, just remember that you don't have to do these things all in the one go. And just take your time. There is no hurry. And this tangle that I'm teaching you just now is a Zentangle HQ tangle. These are actually all, today I'm going to be teaching you all Zentangle official tangles. And in case you have never met me before, my name is Lisa Crow and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. If this is your first time encountering Zentangle, the Zentangle Method is a mindful drawing art form where we're just drawing strokes, one stroke after another, to form a pattern. And because we're slowing our minds right down and just thinking about each stroke in turn as it comes, getting ourselves out of our messy, chaotic heads, and just relaxing ourselves just a little bit. So now that we've got the border and we've ordered, well, we've got the original parallel lines and we've ordered each of those ones, like you can see, the next step in Duda is to draw a vertical line. And we're going to do that from one side of these lines, but it's not going to quite meet the other. And we're going to alternate that all the way along. Now, I always do a Duda tangle. I start drawing my lines in the middle. I mean, you could very easily have started. I don't know why I start in the middle. That's just the way that I always do Duda. Duda. But yeah, you're alternating between the line touching the top bar and the line touching the bottom. Nice and calm. Nice and slow. And if you feel any tension in your body at all, if you're anything like me, I mean, even although I've been practicing the Zentangle Method since 2017, I still quite often find that you carry a lot of tension in your body. So just relax yourself into your seat and just enjoy this moment that you're making for yourself. And even if you aren't tangling along with me just now and you're just watching, you should still be able to get some enjoyment just from relaxing your body and just watching the calming strokes. So I'm just going to do the exact same thing in the opposite direction, just filling these parallel lines. I've quite often do this tangle. It's one that I use time and time again. It's quite good because it's a tangle that you can imagine would fit into a lot of different scenarios on your different tiles that you're creating. And it's just lovely. And when Maria, as in one of the founders of Zentangle, when she creates Duda, she quite often she'll put different weights on her pen, different pressure on her pen, so that she'll end up with kind of more of a characteristic line. It's not just a straight line, it's got a bit more personality about it. So that's an option that you have as well. And this, as I've taught it right now, is exactly as it is in the Zentangle HQ step outs. But what I have taken to doing, like just in the last couple of years, is something that I originally saw Zen Linea do, Anica Gabrovitz. She's a Zentangle teacher in Croatia. I don't know if it was her original idea or she saw it from somebody else, but she kind of often, when she does this tangle, on the bits where the line doesn't quite go to that line here, it's just like as if there's maybe as if you're creating a U shape. Just a little bit of weighting on the bottoms of those bits in Duda. You can choose to do this step, or you could just leave it where we had it before. It is entirely up to you. But I have to say, I quite like the addition of this weighting, because it's something quite, once you get into the rhythm of adding that, there's something quite relaxing about it. I'm just turning my tile around and doing that exact same thing on the opposite side. For the first time in days, I haven't actually felt like I'm missing out by being in front of my desk. We've had the nicest weather for a few weeks now. We're not always used to getting lots of sunshine in Scotland, as you may or may not know. But we've had lots of sunshine, and yesterday we were sitting out in the garden, sun cream on, and just enjoying some of the rays. But today it's still, like, it's not cold by any means, but it's not weather really for sitting outside. It's a little bit more overcast and cold, so I'm quite glad to be sitting inside and tangling with you. So that's the first border tangle that I'm going to teach you today. And then in this middle space here, I'm going to teach a tangle that is called Num Repus. And if you have never met Num Repus before, if you've never come across this tangle before, the reason that it got its name is because it is backwards for the words super moon. And I think it was Zen Again, which is a kind of get together for certified Zentangle teachers. I believe it was that. It may have been another event, but there was a gathering of people, and Zentangle had unveiled their new tangle, and it was around the time of the supermoon, so somebody suggested Num Repus. And I used to not do this tangle, to be honest, because for some reason I found it a bit trickier. But it's really started to grow on me of late, so I wanted to share it on here. So we're doing an S. It's a kind of fairly lazy-ish S. And then we're going to just have this so that almost as if, I don't know if interlocking is exactly the right way of putting it, but I think you'll probably see what I mean. These S's are sort of hooked in to each other. So you're just going to do that all the way along, and then either end you'll have S's that just kind of disappear off the page. So then once you have your column of S's, we're going to join, you see where this S here is the fullest at the top here, and then you've got this bit here where it's at its fullest. We're going to draw a line here from that bit to the next bit, and we just are going to repeat that all the way down. Remember, if you're holding your breath when you're tangling, just relax yourself, as you don't need to hold your breath. This is something to do for enjoyment, so there's no need to feel tense. And on this other side here, we're doing the exact same thing, except where we were doing on the fullest bit here, we were joining that fullest bit to the next one. We're going to look for the fullest bit on the bottoms of the S's, and we're going to join them. And now we're going to do another line which is going to join these S's that we did originally. It's almost like a backwards S. Do that all the way down. Just take your time, and you can see that that one, this S at the bottom was a bit too long and curved round, but it does not matter at all. It's all going to look great in the end. And the next stage is to create almost like a triangular shape here in each of those bits. I love how when you do something as simple as inking in a tiny section, straight away it transforms this tangle into something. I mean, Zentangle, if you don't know, Zentangle is an art form where you're creating artwork that is non-representational, you know, it's abstract. But having said that, in the context of Napus, you can probably see what I'm referring to when I say that this tangle starts as soon as you're starting to add those black triangles. It looks a bit like a chain, and it's amazing what a small amount of ink can do. It really, really transforms the tangle that you're creating. And then I'm going to draw an aura, just simply meaning creating a line that mimics the line next to it. So you're almost drawing a parallel line. And you're trying to be as consistent as you can in terms of the width of that line away from the line that you're mimicking. Trying to be as consistent as possible. And if you don't manage to have it completely consistent, it does not matter. It's not that we're aiming for perfection. It's more that when you try to produce some consistency, you tend to feel a bit more mindful about what you're trying to do. if your results are not consistent, it does not matter at all. It's all going to look fabulous. Okay, so that is Num Repus, and I'm going to move on to my third and final tangle of today, and this one is called Onamato. So I'm just drawing a line that goes all the way from the top here right down to the bottom. And like I said when I was creating my first lines for Duda, if you would like to, you know, you don't have to do everything in one stroke. You can lift your pen and put it back down to start continuing the line from where you left off. Whatever you would like to do. But what I would advise is to not hold your breath while you're drawing a long line, because the natural inclination is that we try and hold our breath and then we think that that's going to help our lines, but it can actually make the line a little bit more wobbly, to be honest. So just breathe as you would naturally. Don't hold your breath at all. And what's also good for me is I don't just look at the pen and follow the pen. I'm kind of, my eye is down here. I find that that helps me to be looking at where I'm going rather than where I am. So I'm interested to know if you've ever done any of these tangles before. I mean, I appreciate that I haven't taught Onamato yet, but you know, you're about to see it in a minute. You could perhaps let me know in the comments if you have a preference for any of these particular tangles. So once you have done your original parallel lines and then ordered each of them, you're creating orb shapes within that first set of parallel lines. And I'm saying orb rather than circle because we are not aiming for a perfect circle. This is not going to be a line that looks like it's been created using a compass. It's circular-ish. It is not going to be perfect at all. And we want to create these orbs so that they are touching each other but not overlapping in any way. We want to have the complete orb, just because of what happens in the next stage of this tangle. And just taking your time. I mean, sometimes you'll see, I think I always tend to draw in the same direction, but I've seen Zentangle HQ, you know, especially Rick, I think one of the founders of Zentangle, Rick will maybe do half the orb, like as if he's creating a C, and then he'll come back up here and he'll do like a backwards C. But if you feel happier to just keep, you know, going clockwise or anti-clockwise, whatever direction you're drawing, all the way around, then go for that. Just whatever you find easiest yourself. It's all about bringing you out of your feeling anxiety and all that kind of thing. So just whatever makes you feel that you can achieve that the more easily. Can't even get my words out today properly. So just in these gaps here, they're sort of roundish triangle shapes. We're putting an orb, as big of an orb as you can smush in there. Doing that all the way along. And then the bits where we haven't got the orb, we're going to ink that in. I was thinking about what videos to record, what actual lessons to teach on YouTube, and I realised that I hadn't done any border tangles in quite some time, and I definitely feel I enjoy doing border tangles. Let me know in the comments, are you somebody, because it definitely, Zentangle can be quite divisive is not the right way of putting it, because Zentangle, like the community, like go on with one another, but what I mean is different people might feel inclined to like or dislike grid tangles, or like or dislike organic tangles. Do you feel like you like a particular type of tangle? I have to say, when I am creating tangles, I tend to just like tangling in general. I don't like or dislike grids over the organic ones. I tend to just like tangling in general. But everyone is different. So now we have finished that stage of the tangle, and you could leave it exactly as it is if you would like to, but there's another stage in the original step outs where there's actually more orbs between those outside parallel lines. So you're just taking your time basically and adding the orbs in here. Now these orbs don't have to necessarily be full orbs. They're just kind of more adding a bit of texture here. But don't rush. I think sometimes people, when they're doing some tangles, they kind of lose the focus to some extent, and they start hurrying and just, they're not really taking their time. The more that you hurry through your Zentangle practice, you're really not gaining the benefit of it. Just be nice and slow. You can see, I think that, you know, here, there's some of my orbs I've shot over the top of the inked line, but it doesn't matter. Just in case you do that, you're on your own tile. It is not the end of the world if you overshoot a little bit. It's going to look wonderful once we add all the shade, and depending on what colour of tile you have, you might be adding highlight as well. It's funny, I actually haven't really done this tangle a lot, but I am somebody who tends to draw a lot of tangles that have orbs in them, so I don't know why I don't do this one more often. I do enjoy it when I take the opportunity. So that's all of the tangles done from the inking stage. So what I'm going to do now is put my pen aside, and I'm going to just start putting some graphite in. And in the context of Duda, I usually would put some pencil line. Just remember to go fairly lightly. You have your pencil on its side, like it's not, I don't even know what the angle is, it's less than 45 degrees. It's not very much of an angle on it, and you can always add more graphite, but it's, if you have a harsh line that's kind of heavily put onto the paper, it's not very easy to smooth it out, and you can kind of get left with the line that's, you can always add more. Okay, so I've got that on either side of those middle lines, and you're just smoothing your graphite out into the centre. Don't bring it all the way to the centre, otherwise you lose the contrast that you're trying to get with this. Just gentle circular motions. And even that has just added something very, very different to this tangle. And then what I would do next for Duda would be on either side of those outside ordered lines. I would put some more graphite. And you could put graphite just on one side if you wanted to. What I've done previously in other tangles is that I've had maybe the bottom line has been, I've used the graphite pencil, and then the top I've ordered with the white pastel pencil. That could look quite cool. Just taking the white pastel pencil now, and I'm going over the centre of that tile, that tangle, and I'm going now along the width and length of the narrower parallel lines. You don't have to do this on yours if you don't want to, but kind of going for a bit of a contrast to the grey that's either side of the tangle. Just using the blending stump to smooth the pastel pencil into the texture of the paper. And that's what the final Duda is going to look like. So then I'm going to move on to adding a little bit of shade on the Napus. And there are different ways of shading this, and you can decide which way that you would like to look into for yourself. I'm just going to add some graphite just where those initial links are, and then where we've got these overlapping, well, they're not overlapping, but they kind of look like they're overlapping. You could go all the way, or in fact that's what I'll do on this bit. And it doesn't matter, remember, if you have started tangling something and then you've shaded it and you think, well, I didn't do that the same, it's not representative of something in real life. So if you just want to put it in one area of your tile when you're shading, and you do that, you're shading this for yourself and not for other people. So you add that shade just where you would like. I'm just using this tortillon now just to smooth out those graphite lines. And then in this bit here where I've got the opposite bits where I've not got any graphite, I'm just going to put some pastel pencil in there just for a little bit of contrast. And I think actually just the same as I did with the Duda tangle, I'm going to put white pastel pencil into the ordered line here, all the way along. Feel free to not do that on your own. I mean, I'm saying that as if you might not have a pastel pencil to use. And if you don't have a pastel pencil, it might be the case that you have, you know, just a regular white colouring pencil. You could also use that if you would like. There are no rights and wrongs in Zentangle at all. And then I'm simply going in again around the edges here, just following exactly where that aura line goes, and then on the opposite side. And then coming to smooth it out. I just always get amazed at what a difference you get. When I first inked these in, I think you'll agree that they might have looked quite impressive, but they still were flat shapes on my page, on my tile, and just bringing in the graphite and the pastel pencil, it just completely transforms everything. It lifts everything up from the page. Now it's so dimensional, it's just amazing. So on this Onamato, you can see on the bigger orbs, that I've just put basically a smiley face. Not just the mouth, a smiley mouth. And then you're using your blending stump, just kind of going backwards and forwards, like so. I was teaching some kids on Tuesday afternoon, and it was so lovely. Because I have taught kids before, but I've never taught a class that was all kids, and there were 12 of them. In fact, like, it was supposed to be 12, but ended up like there was one extra. So I was fully booked and then some. And the kids, they just loved it. You could see them, they were so engaged with what they were doing and asking me questions, and I was actually amazed. Like, one of the girls said to me, "Oh, I've seen you before because my teacher played one of your videos in class." So it turned out that they presumably had been doing Zentangle in school for relaxation. That made my day. And then a wee boy at the end came up to me and asked me what my channel name was, and he was writing it down so that he could come and follow me, and I thought, oh, that's really exciting. Felt famous for a second. And these smaller orbs, you can see I'm giving them the exact same treatment. It's just not as easy to see where the highlight and the graphite are, but I'm just doing it the same in each bit. If you've smudged yours a little bit, excuse me, then remember it's all just about the process of going through this. Because in Zentangle, the process of doing this is just, it has amazing benefits on your mental health. Gets you out of your busy head, calms everything down for you. And it's had amazing benefits on my own mental health. I've suffered from anxiety for a long, long time. It's just a shame that I don't have the option of tangling all through the day. I would if I could. Just love the Zentangle. So when it come to these bits where I've got the tiny orbs, you've probably been able to see I just put a line of graphite just on the outside of one of those lines, and then I'm smoothing that out, and so it kind of creates, to me, it's almost like a series of pebbles or stones or something. I'm going to create another aura line around the outsides of these. Is there one of these tangles in particular you might try, I wonder? Let me know in the comments. You could even just say the name of the tangle if you think you're going to go for one in particular. So this one at the top is Duda. This one is Napus. And this one is called Onamato. And I don't remember hearing the reasoning behind how Onamato was given its name. I've explained Napus is backwards for supermoon. And Duda got its name because Maria thought that the tangle represented a zip to some extent. And, you know, zippity Duda. That's where that got its name from. Sometimes the Zentangle patterns can have quite quirky names. I quite like that one. It's good. So I'm not going to bother doing this just now. I do sometimes do it on camera, but I think just to keep the video from getting too long, I'm not going to do it just now. But what I sometimes do is I go over the pen lines. I'll do it just on this one line here, just to show you what I mean. So when I've been putting down the white pastel pencil and I've been adding shade, my lines that I had created originally have started to get what you might call muted. So if you just take your time to retrace those lines and restate them, it's a really subtle difference and you do not have to do it. But it's quite relaxing just to, because you don't have to think, where's my pen going? What should my next step be? You know exactly where your next step is going to be because you're just tracing over. And I personally find that really, really relaxing. So these patterns are quite similar to some of the things that you might expect to learn from me if you were to join my membership, which is launching in June. I'm quite excited about that. So it's called Drawn to Calm, and it's going to basically be a once a month live class that you can join in. And if you cannot attend at that time, because obviously I have people who follow me like from all over the world, so I can't have a time that's necessarily going to suit every single person in the membership. So you would have replays available. But yeah, there's going to be live content, any pre-recorded content that I have on my website. You'll have access to that within the membership. So the founding members rate is £27 a month. But it's going to go up after the initial founders are let in. So I'm having a free class on Zentangle on the 1st of June, which is a Sunday evening, because I thought, what nicer way to set yourself up for the week ahead than by doing some tangling on a Sunday evening with a bunch of other tanglers. I think that sounds amazing. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So if you would like to join up, as of yet I don't quite have my landing page sorted out, but you can email to join my waiting list, and then I can make sure that you get any communications that are sent out about my membership. It would be great to have you. So that is all of the tangles completed for today, and I'm just now going to show you the tangles that I have created previously, so you can see each of these tangles in another tile. So here we have, this was in a Zentangle project pack, I forget which one, but I loved it. It was quite a recent one. You can see that Duda, and unlike with this one where I've put those extra bits of rounding or weighting, this one doesn't have that, and it just looks so cool. I love that effect. And then here I've got some Duda that's kind of in concentric circles, but obviously it's only a section of what would be the bigger circle. This one was a tile that was taught in one of Anit Sagabrovitz's Tangle Lab sessions, Zen Linear. So I can't remember if, I think she probably did have Duda and I've followed along doing the exact same one as her, or maybe this is a tile that I created using her class as an inspiration. I can't remember, but this is Yaiba. Her lesson was based around Yaiba, which is the tangle that's going up and down there. This is either created during Tangle Lab or as inspired by Tangle Lab. This one, just moving those ones to the side because you can see this is done on a translucency tile. And you can see it's not a very big difference. It's simply that the Duda strips, the parallel lines are closer together, but it does actually make a difference having that quite small compared to wide lines. So it's just something to bear in mind. You can get different looks. Here I've got some Onamato. You can see it's not used in a border in this context, and nor have I actually put, you know, the other little tiny orbs along these lines at the sides, but it's still quite good fun. And I've got it here with this middle tangle mirror kind of as a sandwich. So that's quite cool, quite like that one. And then for my previous examples of Numripus, I've got, I think this is Why Not in the middle, which I've taught previously on my channel if you would like to go and look for Why Not. And then I've done these ribbons coming out with Numripus. And I also have Numripus on this Zentangle tile here. What a lot of fun I've had today. I just love doing the border tiles. So much fun. So if you have enjoyed this video today, I hope you'll be back in the future for another video with me. And thank you so much for joining in. It's very much appreciated. I'll catch you soon. Bye.